Warning, this video contains some actions that may not be safe. Please be cautious and we claim no responsibility for any injuries obtained from following the instructions presented in this video.
Hey guys, in this video we'll be reviewing Clash's P01 WhooPower 1S LiPo charger here. It can charge both high voltage and regular LiPos, and as you can tell it has 6 individual channels because I'm charging a lot of different LiPos here right now. And big thanks to Clash for providing it, and let's get this video started. So before we get into the nitty-gritties on how to use this thing, let's just quickly go over its features. So this P01 WhooPower charger from Clash has 6 individual channels for charging, so it can charge up to 6 1S LiPos at once, probably more if you actually stuck parallel charging boards off here, but that's a whole nother thing. Right now I'm charging 3 high voltage 260 mAh 1Ss here, and then on this side I'm charging 260 mAh 1S, these are regular LiPos, and then a 500 mAh 1S, and then a 600 mAh 1S. So what this means is that this thing actually has individually addressable channels in the sense that you can charge high voltage LiPos on some of them, and then on the others you can charge regular LiPos of separate capacities and all that sort of stuff. So they don't have to be the same capacity, they don't even have to be the same type of LiPo, and they don't have to be at the same voltage. So that's awesome, because if you accidentally, partially discharge a pack, you don't have to pop it on your charger and then wait for it to drop down to the right voltage. You can parallel charge it. You can just plug it in right here, set the right settings, and boom, it'll charge. And just because I'm charging 3 here doesn't mean I can only charge 3 high voltage LiPos on these ports. I could also assign any of these ports to charge for high voltage LiPos, and I can also assign any of these ports to charge just for the regular LiPos. It also has a 2.1 amp USB port, which I'm using to charge my phone here, and that's pretty nice because it allows you to charge larger devices as well, such as iPads and all sorts of higher drain stuff. For the input voltage, it takes 3 and 4 cell LiPos. I'm currently running it off this massive 5000 mAh 4S LiPo. I wish it did have a higher input voltage so it could take 6S, because I know a lot of people like to use those massive 18,000 mAh 6Ss for field charging, but as far as this goes, you're just charging 1 cell LiPo, so even a 1300 mAh 4S is going to be way plenty juice to run you all day on this thing. It also has a barrel connector input. This is a 2.5mm barrel connector, and that plugs in right here if you wanted to use some wall power. So as for the different connectors this thing has, it has MCPX for your Whoop batteries with the larger connector here. It has your standard MX for Whoops, and it also has your micro LoSi connector here. So you can charge some of the older batteries like this super crappy thing I use for my brush quad. As well as Clash also includes these LoSi to JST RCY adapters, so you can charge some larger packs like this 600 mAh Turnigy graphene. So this makes it pretty universal across pretty much all Whoop batteries. To turn it on, all you do is just plug it in. Turn on all the lights and beep. And it just read out my input voltage right there. And right now you notice it says 0.2A, so that means 0.2 amps. And one thing that I also wish this charger could do is you could individually set the current for each of the channels, which you can't, sadly. You can just click this button here to change your current from 0.1 to all the way to 1 amp. So that's actually a lot of power. So you could be charging 1000 mAh LiPos on this thing, but you can't set the current for the individual channels. That would be nice if you could do it, but it's not critical. Only downside is if you plug in 260 mAh here and 600 mAh here, all that'll mean is that your 600 mAh LiPo will take 3 times longer to charge. But at least you're getting to plug it in here, and you don't have to wait on your charger for them each to reach the same voltage or even charge them separately. This is still saving you time overall. So I'm going to set this at 0.2 amps. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to set all these little individual channels to charge exactly what type of LiPo you want, because this thing can charge both high voltage and regular LiPos. High voltage LiPos are just LiPos that can charge to 4.35 volts per cell as opposed to 4.2 volts per cell. Essentially, if you charge a regular LiPo to a high voltage LiPo voltage, it's really bad for the LiPo. Probably won't explode, but LiPos are not rated to be charged up to that, the regular LiPos. So there's a chance that they could explode. So please make sure you know what type your battery is, and to only plug in the right type of battery into the right channel. Otherwise, you will have some serious issues. So now that we know how to change the current, you want to press and hold it, and that will enter you into a setting where you have 2 numbers / letters. The first one in this first digit spot is going to be A, or numbers 1 through 6. A means all, so that's how you set all of your channels, and 1 through 6 is the individual channel. So if you want to set just channel 5 or something, you'd be able to set 5. And then there's a dash in the middle, and then the second number is H or P. P is just regular LiPos, 4.2 volts per cell. H is high voltage, so that channel that you set to H will set it to charge to 4.35 volts per cell. Notice how these lights are getting, dimming, and they're kind of fading between green and off. That means they're all set to charge high voltage LiPos. And for regular LiPos, the light should just be off. So I'm going to try to set channel 5 to just charge regular LiPos. So I'm going to press and hold this. It's going to say A. I'm going to keep scrolling through, just short pressing until I get to 5. Then I'm going to press and hold one more time until that H turns to a P, and I'm going to let it sit to save its settings. So now it says 5P, so channel 5, regular LiPo. And then it'll beep, and then notice how channel 5, the light's off. So that means that all these other channels are charging high voltages, but 5's charging a regular LiPo. So if I want to set all of them to charge regular LiPos, and I don't want to have to go through all those individual channels and repeat that process 6 times over, they have this nice little feature where you can set them all to that. So what you want to do is press and hold. You get A-H, I'm going to press and hold again, and it'll say A-P, so all regular LiPo. So now it'll flash again, and it'll save its settings, and now all of them will be off. And now you can charge all regular LiPos and not worry about your batteries exploding. And then you can do the same thing to set it back to high voltage LiPos and stuff like that. So it's actually a pretty easy interface, figuring that you only have one button and a 3-digit display here. Pretty easy to use and nice because you can set each individual channel to charge exactly the type of LiPo you want. So I think that covers pretty much everything here. I'll be using this charger to charge batteries for this crappy old brush thing that actually flies pretty decent. And my Beta 65 Pro here with these 0703 brushless motors, and it'll be replacing all my other previous crappy charging solutions, like this guy who didn't even charge the batteries really, half of them weren't even charged. Parallel charging board, which is also pretty flaky, and then this thing which ended up overcharging the LiPos. And yeah, so this thing replaces all 3 of those chargers, so now I can just have this one charging suite, which is pretty sweet, and I can run it off a 4-cell LiPo on the field, so I don't have to have a USB port available to run it, and I tons of 1300 milliamp hour 4S's laying around, so that's great. So thanks again to Bold Clash for providing this for this review, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will be seeing you next time.